Hey there, fellow classic comic collectors. As always, I'm Scott Harris King, and today we're here celebrating the end of the latest Kickstarter campaign. This one's for the Crimebusters #4. I want to thank everyone who's watching this. You can see that there is one person watching this, so thank you, person who's watching this. And anyone who might be watching this later on replay, thanks very much. I'm going to be here yammering randomly for the next hour about my Kickstarter, about my comics, and about comics in general. As we count down those final 60 minutes of the Kickstarter campaign, at some point there may be surprise special guests dropping in. And if there are, it'll be a surprise to me, but I did share the invitation with a group of people who are comic creators whose campaigns are also currently live on Kickstarter. In case any of them want to stop in, we'll be talking about their Kickstarters as well. Just something I like to highlight other people's campaigns and, just the cool Kickstarter community. And also, it gives me something to talk about because I'm not quite sure how I'm going to fill 60 minutes, but I've done it before, so I think I can do it again. So first of all, Let's start by showing the Kickstarter progress here. I'm very excited and very grateful to everybody because the Kickstarter has been doing really well. That's not right. Hold on. There we go. Let's do this. Ooh, I'm starting to get good with this StreamYard stuff. So you can see here, 58 minutes to go. We got 91 backers, and we're currently at $2,486. This is blown away my not just my expectations, but also, when I was thinking about, wild dreams, what I wanted to do with this campaign, didn't think I would come anywhere close to the amount of money, in particular that backers have pledged. So I really appreciate everybody who has backed. Emmanuel, thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Yes, 250% of the goal is really impressive. It is. I will say that, I set $1,000 goal. If I had got $1,000, I would have been very, happy and grateful for the people who backed, but I also would have lost money. So it's really hard to judge exactly like your break-even costs and stuff because everything scales. So like the more backers you get, the, more money that Kickstarter is taking out of it, the more money you're spending on printing, the more money you're spending on shipping. And so, like if you go over your break-even point moves, but I think my break-even point probably would have been about 1,350. That was, I had several goals in the back of my head. 1,000 was the sort of thing where I was like, if we hit 1,000, I'll be comfortable, losing the 300 or spending an extra $300 out of pocket to get this out into the world. Right. But I'd never expected to get close to this much, the most we've done on a previous issue of Crimebusters is actually issue 2. Where I had $1,802 around there pledged. And so I was hoping to match that. In my wildest dreams, I thought maybe 2,000, but I certainly didn't expect to get this close to 2,500. This is also the most backers we've had for a Crimebusters. Again, issue 2, we had 83 backers. So that was my hope, was that I would get past 83. And so to get to 91 is really exciting for me. I feel like I lost a little momentum with the Crimebusters with issue 3 came out right at the height of the pandemic, towards the end of 2020. And so, just a lot of people weren't able to back at that time. And as a creator, I did not have the energy or the focus to put in the work that I normally do on a Kickstarter, because the Kickstarters are a lot of work. Usually I'm hustling to get the word out there and do a lot of cross promotion stuff. And for issue 3, I just, like everyone else, 2020 was yet another very difficult year. So, that was one where I was just happy to sort of get that out. So I was down from issue 2 to issue 3, both in terms of amount backed and number of backers. So I was just kind of hoping to get back to the levels I was for issue 2 with this, and to go past those is just really just can't say enough about how thankful I am and grateful I am to everybody. So thank you all so much for your support. I usually do one of these at the end of every campaign, sort of count down the last hour. And my experience has been that I'm not sure I've ever had a pledge come in during the last hour, except I just got one. Just literally as I'm saying that, I got a new pledge. So, I want to thank whoever pledged that. I could check right now, but let me take that off. I don't want that information to be public unless it's someone who's watching, basically, that I can thank them. So let me just take a quick look. So I'm shocked to say that we just got a backer. As I was saying that we won't be getting any backers during last hour, we got a new backer during the last hour. So thanks very much to the person who just backed. I really appreciate it very much. You can see that we've just crossed the $2,500 mark. 92 backers. It's just, again, never expected that. We are getting a little bit of momentum with the series. One thing that's happened, is that with 4 issues out now, when people are new to the series and they're buying like everything to catch up, they're buying 4 issues instead of 2 or 3. And so the average pledge level has gone up quite a bit because of that. So that's been a big factor in the higher amount, is that I have been lucky enough to have a number of new people come in that hadn't seen the first 3 issues or didn't back the first 3 issues. And so they're picking up all 4 of the issues, and that's really driven that amount up. So I really appreciate it. Of course, we'll keep watching how that's going, but I did want to talk a little bit about a couple other things with the campaign. So my stretch goals with the campaign, since I didn't expect to get nearly this high, we hit them all a long time ago. My stretch goals were at 1,250, 1,500, and 1,750. Because realistically, I didn't think we were going to hit 2,000. But we have hit all of them. So anybody who does back is going to get a bunch of bonus rewards. What I try and do is provide stretch goal bonus rewards for everybody. So if you are only backing digitally, you will still get bonus rewards. And if you're backing physically, you will also get not just all the digital bonus rewards, but you'll get some additional physical rewards. So specifically, with the digital rewards, what I like to do is I make the PDF bigger. Since I use some public domain characters, I'm able to add Golden Age stories that are in the public domain. So when you get the PDF for issue 4, in addition to the new story of Crimebusters 4 that you're getting, which is 36 full color pages, there's also going to be a bunch of bonus stuff. You'll have all the variant covers, but there'll be several, probably 2 or 3, maybe, depending on which ones I find that I like, complete stories from the Golden Age. So like there's a character in this issue who makes a small appearance who's from the Golden Age, the Man in Black called Fate. So we're going to have one of his stories in here. And then we'll have always have a Crimebuster story. So you can read one of his Golden Age books. I try and pick ones that sort of tie into this issue. And I'm not sure that's really going to work this time, but there'll be something. And so I do that. I also do an audio commentary track where I go through the issue and I talk about the creative decisions. And also there's Easter eggs and things that I've put in the issues, that sort of thing. So we'll have all of that. And then in addition to those things, for digital rewards, there's going to be 3 complete free comics. Some of my Other comic creators on Kickstarter have allowed me to distribute for free. I tried to pick an array of comics that are very different from each other. So, they may not be all to your taste, but hopefully at least one of them will be to your taste. And those comics this time around, it's a Shark of War #1, which I've actually given out before, Astounding Tales #1, and Gorilla My Dreams and Mime of My Life. So anyone who backs at any level will get all of those as bonus digital rewards. And then there'll also be some like desktop and phone like wallpapers and backgrounds and stuff. So if you want to customize that, that'll all be available. I have some from previous issues that I've done. Every issue I'm making more. So we're going to have some new ones that are specific to issue 4, but then we'll also have the old ones as well. So you're getting more and more as they go. Plus we have the physical rewards. So I wanted to show those because I actually have them. And those are things. First is the trading cards. So every issue I've been doing trading cards as a bonus reward. And so now we're starting to get quite a few trading cards actually, because this is trading cards numbers 11 and 12 in the series. And so card number 11, here is the Stu Stewart card. Now, Stu was also on a previous card, number 5, where he was shared the card with Squeaks, but now he has his own card, and we'll see in the backup story the story behind this card, because some things have happened to Stu. We haven't seen him since issue 1, and this, one of the reasons I wanted to do the new card is it reflects the changes to Stu since we've seen him last, right? And so I'm going to be doing that in future issues as well. When events happen to characters and they have like different costumes or different, learn different things, or they're in a different place in their journey, there may be more cards from them. So we may be getting more Chuck cards, more Trixie, more Vera. Vera on her first card was sort of in her regular clothes, but we've seen in issue 2 that she's working on like a flight suit with a jetpack. So eventually there's going to be Vera cards with that when we get to the point where she's doing that more, stuff like that. So I really love the trading cards. I have a lot of plans for the trading cards. I'm going to keep doing more of them. And eventually what I want to do theoretically, and I don't quite know how to do this, but have a little folder with sleeves, so you can have like a little card collector folder to keep all of your Crimebusters trading cards in, and it'll have like a Crimebusters logo on the front. So I'm starting to shop around for like vendors that can do that, and just sort of figure out whether that's something that only I want, or if it's something that my backers would also want. A lot of times what I'll do is I make things that I like. I think if you as a creator, if you do stuff that you like, other people will like it. There'll be people with similar tastes. But we also have card number 12, which is the Man in Black called Fate. And got a whole box of them here, 250 of them. And these are all going right in the recycle bin because there's a typo on the back. It's one of those things you check it over and over and over again before you send it. And then as soon as I got it in and I looked at it, it jumped right out at me. So I put in a new order. I have a new set coming in that are corrected. Don't worry, anybody who has the physical rewards, you'll be getting the corrected Man in Black called Fate trading card, because that'll be here before the comic arrives. I should get that's probably next week or so. So those are really cool. I do love the trading cards. And then the other physical like bonus reward that I got, I wanted to show you guys, is also something I've been thinking about for a while. So in the fan club membership kit, I've had for a while a secret decoder book, and the secret decoder book is that in every issue of my comics so far, there've been like secret messages. It's when people are talking in the wizards are talking and they're doing an incantation, or there's like a cryptic book, or there's an alien language that they don't understand. All of that text, which is in these like alien wizard fonts and stuff, they all say things. And so if you had the decoder book from the fan club membership kit, you can actually decode and translate those messages to see what they are. But the decoder book, I was making them by hand, and so they're kind of crappy and they were a pain in the butt to make. And so I was thinking about what I could do, and I realized there's a much simpler way that I could do it. And so as a stretch goal, anyone who has the physical reward level is going to be getting one of these. It's a Crimebuster Comics bookmark, which was just slightly miscut, but I think it's not too bad. The important parts that you can read it. It's got the characters on it, so it's pretty good. But the other side is the really important part in terms of being cut, and it was cut okay, because on the other side of the bookmark is the decoder, right? So you can see there's 3 different alien languages that I use in the comic, and this is the key to all of them. So if you have the bookmark with the secret decoder, you'll be able to go through any of the comics that I've done so far, all 4 issues of Crimebusters and Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam #1, and you'll find places in them where one of these languages is used, and you'll be able to decode it. So I wanted to do that so that I wasn't making these, crappy books for the fan club membership kit. And since I was going to make them and I had to order them in bulk anyway, I figured I might as well just give them out as a stretch goal. So Tartan fan, I'm late to the party. Now I'm a party of 1. Yeah, I see the viewing count keeps going up and down from 1 to 2. So someone's bopping in and out. But Rob, I really appreciate you coming. I appreciate your support. I was just going over some of the stretch goals, the physical rewards, and things like that. And so we've got 43 minutes left. I'll show the screen again here. We've had one backer that came in during this closeout party, which I was really surprised at, because in the previous ones, I've never had anyone come in during the last hour, but that allowed us to break the $2,500 mark. So all of the money that I'm getting from this, obviously a lot of it's going to make this comic. Everything that's on top of that, whatever I get over that amount, I'm rolling all of that right into the next issue and to making more comics. So any profit it's going right back into this, because I'm getting very serious about making comics. I mean, I've always been serious in terms of trying to put together a good comic, and a well done comic, and good stories and stuff. But I don't know, I'm having a bit of a midlife crisis, I guess, where I really want to be making comics. I don't want to be doing my actual job quite so much. And so I've decided to get really serious about trying to do comics more as less as a hobby and more as like a career goal. So one of the things that I'm doing is I'm investing money in it. The only way to really build up the readership and to build up the fan base and to build up momentum is to get out issues faster, put out more comics and more quickly, as long as they're still good. And so what I'm actually doing right now, Tartan, I really appreciate it, Rob. It's Tartan Phantom says, really enjoyed the series so far. It's a fun series. Thank you. I hope you enjoy this issue. One of the issues that I have with working on it is, I've been working on this issue for a year, not all the time, because probably the last 7 months I've been working full-time on this for all of my comic book time, but I've been sitting with the story for a long time, and I've been working out the details, and I've been drawing it and stuff. And I'm at the point where I've been so into this comic that I no longer have any idea whether it works at all. I've had one person read the completed comic so far, and he said he really liked it. So that's great. But I don't know. I have no perspective on whether it's any good. I hope it is. I hope people like it. But I really want to get more issues of Crimebusters out faster, and I want them to also be better. And so I'm working on hiring an artist I enjoy on some levels drawing it, but I'm just way too slow. And as long as I'm drawing it, I'm never going to be able to get them out faster. So as I've been working on this Kickstarter, I actually have hired an artist who is currently drawing the backup story for issue 5, sort of as like a test. And I've been really happy with his work. So sometime in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be talking with him to see if he wants to do the whole issue number 5, or even potentially more issues in the future and become kind of a regular penciler for Crimebusters, because I personally really like what he's doing. It's not quite Archie style. It still has sort of the simplicity and some of the cartooniness, but it also brings in a lot more heavy blacks and sort of mood, like shadows and stuff. So gives it to me kind of more like a Batman the animated series sort of feel. And so this is the sort of thing I have in mind when I'm doing Crimebusters, but I just can't draw it. So we'll see how that works out. I can't promise anything. I haven't had a chance to really talk to him about the kind of commitment it would take to do an entire issue, but I'm hopeful that when issue 5 comes out, we're going to have it out much faster, and the art will be really cool. And then we can start getting these issues out. Optimally, I want to be doing at least 3 issues of Crimebusters a year and start doing other comics as well. So all of the money from this is going to be rolled right into, paying for artists and stuff. A little like Toth animation style. Yeah, kind of. I mean, Toth is one of my, he's on like my Mount Rushmore. So I don't want to, I don't want you to think that the guy who's going to be drawing this is as good as Toth, because nobody is, but it is a little bit like that, like very heavy blacks. You know what, while we're talking, let me see if I can bring up a sample page so you can have an idea of what it's going to look like, because he has sent me 5 pages of the backup story. It's a little bit of a spoiler, but let me see if I can do that here. Just going to take me a minute to bring that up. And we'll be seeing these at least as the backup story, even if it doesn't work out for the rest of the issue. So, all right, hold on. Let me see. Let me figure this out here. Okay. Put this down here. So here's some of his art. You can see Granny Gumshoe here coming in, and we got Louver. This is Louver up here in the top right. Obviously it's going to look different when it's fully colored, but you can see, on the panel 2 and on Granny on panel 5 in particular, you can see like the heavy shadows and the blacks, but it still has this sort of simplicity of the Crimebusters artwork. So yeah, I'm really digging this guy's art a lot, and it's actually in my price range as well. So I'm really hopeful. Again, I haven't had a chance to actually sort of talk to him about doing it full time, because we've been waiting until he finishes the 6 pages. But he's working on he just finished page 5, so he's just got 1 page left. So in the next couple of weeks, hopefully I'll have a chance to do like a Zoom call with him, and we can talk about doing the rest of issue 5. And I really want to try and lock him down into doing this regularly. It's just going to be a matter of whether he enjoys doing the series enough, or if he has other commitments, because yeah, it's just what I want. That page I showed, what is that from? That's going to be in the backup story of issue 5. So that's the next issue of Crimebusters. So a little bit of spoilers. We're going to see Louver in issue 5, and we're also going to see Granny in the backup story of issue 5. And some stuff's going to be happening, but that's coming up. Hopefully not too long. I don't want to go another year before between issues of Crimebusters. I want to try and get that out much sooner. So I don't also know this artist. I don't quite know how fast he is because he's currently juggling a bunch of like tryouts. So he's doing this 6-page thing for me, but he's also doing other tryouts for other people. So he says he can draw much faster when he's on a full-time assignment. So so that's in the future. I guess I should also give an update. Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam #2 almost finished. Don't really know for sure when that's going to be done. I've been in communication with my artist Jay. It's 32 pages, like the first issue. 26 of those pages are done. I have them. I have the front cover and the back cover. So I'm just waiting on those last 6 pages from Jay. And when I talked to him last week, he said he should have them done shortly. So all systems are go for Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam #2 to hopefully come out this fall. So I've got another project that's going to be a Crimebuster 80th anniversary special that I want to do this summer, which is going to be like a DC 100-page giant. It's going to have a bunch of Golden Age reprints of Crimebuster stories, and they're going to be selected to they're going to be stories that are relevant to the Crimebuster, stories that I've referenced in issues of Crimebuster, so you can sort of get all those together. Special covers on Uncle Sam #2. Yeah, we're definitely having those. I've already got a cover from Ryan Mendoza. He did the, let me see if I can find that. Ryan Mendoza is the variant cover artist who did the Adventures into the Unknown cover for Uncle Sam #1. And he's done another one for me for #2 as well. So let me bring that up so I can share that. Let's see. I'm learning how to do all this here. Okay, so here is the Ryan Mendoza cover for Uncle Sam #2, Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam #2, aka Adventures in the Unknown #176. And we see we got Sam and a new character behind him called the Lone Gun. A guy named Ike Reeves, who goes by the Lone Gun, who's like a hard-boiled private detective. And they're fighting a bunch of Cthulhu monsters in New York City. You can see the Statue of Liberty behind them. So we're going to have that one. There's also going to be... give me a second. I can show you. I'm working on a cover to go with... for the first issue, I also had the Incredible Hulk 181 variant. So I want to do a cover for that. It's going to take me a minute to show you that. But in the meantime, I can show you. I had someone who read Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam actually send me some fan art, and he told me that I could use it for whatever I want, and I really dig it. So I may end up issuing it as a variant cover. It's a Granny Gumshoe cover. So here's Granny Gumshoe on this cover, where you can see Uncle Sam is fighting Cthulhu in the background. And you have some of the other characters that were in the first issue. You got Count Orlok. He may be back in the second issue, even though he supposedly died. So I think I'll probably have that as a variant. Ike Reeves, he's a new character, but he's based on... So he's going to be the grandson of Bass Reeves, who is a real life... was a real life Texas Ranger in the Old West, who was the basis for the Lone Ranger. But of course, when they made the Lone Ranger white, whereas Bass Reeves was actually black. So the idea is that's kind of why I gave him the name the Lone Gun. He's going to be a character who he was raised by his grandfather, Bass Reeves, and Bass Reeves gave him his, his gun from the that he used in the Old West, and so he uses that on his detective missions and stuff. So I've got another... This is going to be... I might do this as a variant cover, but I haven't decided yet. It would just be if people really wanted it. it was a pinup that Jay did when he was working on the character. Let me find it here. Yeah, so here's the Ike Reeves pinup. So he's going to be, I would eventually like to do, I've got some ideas already for like a spin-off, like mini series with him, set in the 40s, sort of detective things where he's investigating supernatural mysteries, which is what I like. But that would be dependent on something where I would really want to find like a Black artist to collaborate with me on that. Kyle, thanks for joining us. I'm not sure he's still here, but I can't really see who's still with me. But Kyle, I appreciate you coming. And let me see if I can call up. I'm working on another variant cover, like I started to say, that goes with the Incredible Hulk 181 cover. It's another like classic homage cover, and it's gonna have it's also gonna have Ike Reeves, the lone gun, on it, and it's gonna have Granny, and it's gonna have Jake the dog. Let me see if I can bring it up. It's not done yet, right? But you'll be able to tell what it is. So see if I can find it. It's only partially drawn. Yeah, that's exactly right, Rob. That's exactly right. But with less reincarnation. Spoilers for Starman. So you can see I'm working on an homage to Fantastic Four #1, and so it's basically going to have Cthulhu here in the middle where this blank spot is going to be the monster coming up out of the ground, and the tentacles are going to be wrapping around Granny, and there's going to be a tentacle up here where the Human Torch is on the real cover. There's a tentacle going to be coming up, and it's going to be wrapped around Jake the dog, who's going to be here. And you can see I've got Uncle Sam is down here, and here's the lone gun down here. So that's going to be like a higher tier sort of premium variant cover. I'm probably going to print 25 of them like I did with the Hulk cover. So that's what I'm working on. It's just I got this far on it, and then I had to stop because of the Kickstarter campaign. I just haven't had time. I got this far like 2 months ago, and then I was just too busy to finish it. But in the next couple of weeks, once I've got this off my plate and all the rewards are ready for this, and we're just waiting for the printer, I'm going to do, this is next on my list, is to finish this so I can start getting everything ready for Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam #2. So yeah, and I've got other things in the works. Since we're talking about the other stuff I'm doing, I might as well share some of the other things that I'm working on, because I do have other comics that I want to do. That's another part of ramping things up. I don't have the time to draw anything else, so I'm trying to hire people. And one thing that I've started working on just as a passion project is I want to do a romance comic. I want to put out an issue of Romantic Adventures. I'm going to revive that ACG title for the variant covers. I have the stories. 2 of the stories are all scripted. One of them's already drawn, and then I've got 2 more that I have like plotted out. I think it's just going to be a one shot, but I love romance comics, so if I'm making comics, I've got to do a romance comic, right? So let me show you one of the pages that I had an artist has already drawn. So this is an artist from Europe that I found, who I just really like the detail work that she does, like with the backgrounds and stuff. And so yeah, this is going to be a romance comic. And so that's not going to be out till next year. I still have to find artists to draw the other 3 stories, but yeah. And then Rob, I know you're on the Classic Comics forum, so you've already seen the fantasy comic I'm working on, and that's going to be a big priority for me next year. But I have to get everything with Crimebusters has to be the first priority. So once I get the artist hired for that, hopefully, then I'll be able to work on my fantasy comic and start getting an artist. So let me share that. I'm spilling all the beans here on everything. But yeah, so I've just done, all I have right now for this is a variant cover that I drew this because I feel pretty strongly that whoever the regular artist is should do the regular cover, but this is the throwback variant cover that I did. And this is going to be like a epic fantasy sort of D&D inspired, sword and sorcery sort of series. And I have the first 2 issues all plotted out, like broken down by page plot. So I'm pretty far along on it. And once I find an artist for this, I'm going to be getting to work on this and hopefully start having it out next year. But again, yeah, like Crimebusters has to be kind of my flagship title. I've got to prioritize that, even though, to be honest, I think that the fantasy comic that I just showed, in terms of the Kickstarter audience, probably has a much higher ceiling. But yeah, I want to Crimebusters is my priority. So I've only been able to work on that in the background. Yeah, let's check in. Yes, Kyle, I did. I hit 250% of my goal. I know. I did not. I honestly didn't think I would come anywhere close to that amount. So let's see how we're doing now. We're gonna share that screen because it's been a little while since I looked at it. Okay. Here we go, and here we are. So, yes, we're at 2,507.92 backers with 22 minutes left. So I'm very happy with this. I don't expect any more backers to come in at the last minute. I'm more than happy with this. It's far exceeded what I thought. I thought pie in the sky I might hit $2,000. Rob's asking, Tartan Phantom, is there any friction between your Crimebuster universe and those that have been or are produced by others? Well, not at my end. Frankly, I think I'm too small for anyone else to even know I'm around. So right now there's 2 other Crimebuster revivals that are theoretically out there. One of which was announced the same month that I announced Crimebusters #1. And that's the one from Exciting Comics, in the series Exciting Comics from Antarctic. They have a revival where it's Chuck Chandler's granddaughter. So she's like a lacrosse player, and she's got Squeaks the monkey and everything. And I haven't had a chance to read them because I bought the first 2 issues that had the Crimebuster variant covers, and she's not actually in either of them. So apparently, even though she starts appearing on the covers with issue 3, she doesn't actually appear in the comic, I think, until issue 6 or something. So I don't know, but since they're $10 each, I got a little frustrated spending $20 on the first 2, and it turns out there was no Crimebuster stories in either of them. So I've never actually read them. I know there's one where, based on the cover, apparently there's some sort of time travel thing where she meets Chuck Chandler. So I would like to read them, but I don't know. Yes, it's from AP Antarctic Press. The other Crimebuster revival is from Chapter House, and they've gone like full all out because I lost a backer. I just lost a backer. That's okay. Someone just canceled their pledge. Yeah, it was someone who was doing the catch up for all the issues. So someone just canceled that, but that's okay. It's all right. So Chapter House or Comic House, whatever they used to be called, is a Canadian publication company, and they've changed their name to Lev Gleason, and they're just going all in with like all Lev Gleason stuff. So Daredevil, Crimebuster, and that's a bit of a puzzle to me. They've put out one issue that was like a free comic book day that had a Crimebuster story, and it's Chuck Chandler, but he's in the modern day. And he's so he's like in high school, and he's sort of like a modern sort of like protester sort of kid. The story was actually pretty good. But like they have a series called Lev Gleason Presents where every issue is supposed to be like an featuring another character, and the first 2 issues came out, and then in previews every month there's another issue listed, and as far as I can tell, none of them have been published. So if you look online, they're up to like issue 12 in terms of announcing all these stories and stuff, but I don't know, as far as I can tell, they never printed any of them. So Crimebuster was supposed to be in issue 9. So the way the series works is it's like they're series within series, so it'll be like Lev Gleason Presents number 9, and then it'll say Crimebusters issue 1, and so Crimebuster might come back again, you know, in Lev Gleason Presents 16, and it'll have Crimebuster issue 2, right? That's the way it's supposed to work. So I pre-ordered that number 9, and eventually the order was canceled by the dealer because I don't think they ever got it. So Kyle, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, that stinks. That stinks. I hear you though. I'm having, I started to say earlier, I have a bit of a midlife crisis in terms of just like, I don't want to get into it too much, but having a lot of health issues and some family members having some health issues, and I'm just feeling very much my age and very mortal, and feeling like I don't really want to be spending my time doing things I don't want to do. I want to be spending my time making comics. So I'm actually selling off a bunch of my key issues. You know, as you guys know, I just did this thing where I sold off a bunch of like 2,000 or 3,000 runs of comics, and I spent the money to buy more back issues, like more key issues. And I'm sort of doing the other thing now. I'm actually selling quite a number of my big keys, and I'm taking that money and I'm putting it right into making more comics so I can have the money on hand to hire artists. Because, you know, work's just been really hard with all the health issues for me, and I just don't have the money I used to. You know, if it was a couple years ago, I'd be like, oh, no problem, I can spend this extra money on these artists. But now I'm like, I've got to cash in these keys in order to get the money. No, I'm not selling Young Romance 150. I have a lot of keys that are not like part of titles I collect. You know, I sold my WoW comics number 38, for instance, stuff like that. So I sold my Tomb of Dracula number 1. I sold my Journey into Mystery 89. I'll probably do a whole video about it because just talking about what I'm doing. And I will probably end up selling my Marvel Spotlight number 5, which of course is, you know, it's like a $3,000 book at this point, and it's one of my like favorite books in my collection. But I've already gotten rid of all the other Ghost Rider issues in my collection, so I don't, you know, it's not like Avengers or something. So thanks, Kyle. I appreciate it. So yeah, I'm having another sort of like shifting my collection, my comic booking a little bit from collecting to making comics. So yeah, I'm just, I don't want to share the screen, but I'm just checking in to see who it was that canceled their pledge at the last second. Kickstarter has certain what's the word I'm looking for? They have certain things in place so people can't like cancel on you at the last minute if it will affect your funding. So like if the person canceling that with 15 minutes left had dropped me down under my funding goal, Kickstarter would not have allowed that. However, since I'm so far over my goal, I'm frankly, I'm not even sure who this person. Oh yeah, it's someone that backed on the first day of the campaign and then canceled it in the last 20 minutes. Oh well, it's fine. I'm so far over whatever expected. I'm not gonna complain, and I can't really complain. Kyle, I'll trade you for that spot. If I was gonna trade it, I would definitely trade it to you. But I'm pretty focused on selling stuff to get the money. Like the $3,000 from that would be enough to hire someone to draw like 2 issues of a comic. So yeah. There's other books that I might have for trade, and I'll definitely hit you up first if I trade them. But yeah, I need to raise the cash. Yes, Emmanuel, that's kind of how it works. Like, I don't know what the time frame is. But there's a certain window where if you get within a certain window, you can't back out. And so like I've had there are Kickstarter trolls, right? So there's one guy in particular who like he'll back you at the highest level that he can, and then when you get right to the end, he'll cancel it. And he does this every campaign to all the creators that I know. We'll talk about it later, Kyle. Maybe you can send me an email. And so basically what happens is these trolls, they know what that window is. So they don't wait until the last minute to cancel because they know that Kickstarter might lock them in. So basically what happened is I went, my campaign's 33 days. I went 30 days without anyone dropping their pledge level or canceling their pledges. And then in one afternoon, I had 4 people within a matter of a couple hours. 4 different people either canceled their pledge completely or drastically reduced the amount. And one of those, at least one of those was definitely a troll, because it's the same guy who does that every time. And he knows that if he waits too long, he might get stuck with the money. So he has it timed to know when to back out of the campaign. So luckily for me this time, it's a guy that lives in Australia, and I didn't offer the higher tiers to Australia because the shipping's too much. So he was only able to do it for the digital PDF, so it wasn't a big deal. And when he pledged to begin with, I saw the name and I was like, I can just pretend that doesn't exist. So, but anyway, yeah, we're still far more than I expected, even with someone backing out there. So anyone have any other questions? There's 12 minutes left. I had invited some guests to come on, other people that have their Kickstarters running at the current time, but it doesn't look like any of them are going to come. So I thought I would be able to entertain you by talking about someone else's campaign for 5 minutes, but that doesn't look like that's going to happen. Although there is one campaign I wanted to mention, and it's one that I talk about all the time. So this will be no surprise to anybody. Let me call that up. Hold on, I can't type at all. I just lost my ability to function here. Let me try this again. I just wanted to mention once again Miskatonic High, which I talk about all the time. But let me just share this with you. Miskatonic High. It's a series that's in the same space as me, where it's about a group of students that investigate supernatural mysteries. Ryan Mendoza, who does my variant covers for Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam is the regular artist on here. And I kind of aspire to be where they're at, because they've been putting out issues like every 2 months or every 3 months since just before I started. When I was on issue 1 of Crimebusters, they were on issue 5. And now I'm on issue 4 and they're on issue 15. So you can see how much faster they're putting it out. And because of that, and some other things, like it's just Miskatonic High is just a more obvious brand. They don't have to explain anything. People can just know exactly what it is by the title. You can see how many backers and how much money they've been able to get to, and just the consistency where they're just putting out cool comics all the time with Kickstarter as their primary distribution system. It's like there's other titles that are starting to get up there number wise on Kickstarter, but this is one where like it just in the last 3.5 years, they've put out 15 issues of Miskatonic High all on Kickstarter. And you can see that they've built up a big audience doing that. And that's where I want to get to with Crimebusters, where I can put out 3 issues a year and just put out good stuff much faster. So that's why I'm kind of selling my comics and stuff to raise the money so I can hire artists to do that. Just stop that there. That's not what I meant to do. Just do it that way. Rob says, Starting Phantom, are you backing the Owl campaign this time? Yes, I am. Yeah, the first issue was good. I think I mentioned this last time, but I accidentally pledged for the wrong variant cover when I did it, and so I was really frustrated with myself. I think this time around I'm getting the correct one. I tend to buy anything that comes along that has Native American characters. I've mentioned before my wife's Native American, so I tend to buy these, and I buy a lot to give to her father because it's a sort of an area of interest for him. And so yeah, I'm definitely backing the Owl. Again, I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. It wasn't quite what I was expecting, to be honest, but yeah. Kyle says, what would be your name of choice if you set up your own comic book publishing company? Well, I sort of accidentally did that. Here's my slightly miscut bookmarks with Crimebuster Comics on it, because when I was doing all the social media stuff on my website, rather than do it under my name or anything, I did it all under Crimebuster Comics. So like I have the crimebustercomics@gmail.com, my website's crimebustercomics.com, and my Instagram is the Crimebusters. And so now that I'm branching out into other comics that are not related to the Crimebusters, like these fantasy series, and there's a sci-fi series I want to do, and the romance books, I've kind of stuck a little bit, because the fan base that I have built up, the readers and the backers over these last 5 Kickstarters, they know me as Crimebuster Comics. So it's going to be Crimebuster Comics. Basically, yeah. I probably would have been better off just branding it as myself. So like Scott Harris Comics, just like not even having a publishing, just like whatever I do and make the brand me. That's what a lot of creators are doing now, like sort of indie creators. But I was really focused on putting out the Crimebusters at the time. And so, that's something where if I were to go back, I might do it a little bit differently, but it's fine. I've been thinking about a logo, like something like the DC bullet, but it would say CC, or maybe one like, you remember in the 1950s, the DC logo would say like Superman comic, and it has like a little picture of Superman. I think I might do a thing like that where it's Crimebuster and it says Crimebuster Comics, and potentially have that logo on other comics that I put out. You may have noticed the throwback variant cover for the fantasy series, the banner across the top said Crimebuster Comics. So I'm kind of locked into that. I think wasn't completely intentional, but I think it works fine. So I think I'm just going to stick with that. Since it's been 3 years of slowly building up a mailing list and stuff, but I don't want to. I think I want to avoid the bullseye logo. What's his name? Paul Kupperberg still puts out Charlton stuff occasionally because he has some of the rights. I don't know exactly how that works. It's very complicated with Charlton sold off pieces of their rights to different people. But he's got some kind of rights for Charlton. And so he puts out sometimes things that called Neo Charlton, which uses the Charlton bullseye logo. So I don't want anyone to confuse us there. All right, let me call back the getting down to the last couple minutes. So I feel like I should put the campaign back on screen. Again, I don't expect any more backers. Hopefully no one else will back out either, but who knows? So there's 4 minutes left. And we can just get that on screen and count that down. Feel free at home to put on your little hats and your little thingies and pretend that you're in Times Square as we count down to the end of the campaign. Let me just scroll down a little bit. Here we go. 3 minutes left. So have to say I'm very happy the campaign's over. I was put in a lot of work. I made it a little bit longer than usual because I felt like I had to catch up from sort of being behind after the last issue came out during the pandemic, and I missed out on a lot of backers. So I gave myself a bunch of extra time for extra cross promotion, and I just got burnt out. Like about 3 days ago or so, I just hit the wall, and I was like, I can't do any more cross promotion. I can't do anything else. And I'd already hit the goal at that point, so I just kind of there's a lot of places I could have sent out reminders and more posts on different social medias in the last 2 days to remind people to get it. And I did the ones that are really important, like my mailing list, but otherwise I just was like, I'm too pooped. I need to just lie down for a few days after this. It's been so much work, but we're almost there. The last 2 minutes. And again, I want to thank everybody for the support. And for coming to the channel. I hope you've enjoyed the peek at stuff that's to come. And yeah, so as soon as this is over and the live stream's over, I'm gonna go lie down. Oh, we're inside the last 2 minutes, so it's counting down per second. Who knows? Maybe in the last 5 seconds, someone will come in and with just a massive pledge. There was a guy in one of my Kickstarter groups the other day where someone unexpectedly out of nowhere just showed up and pledged $800 to his campaign. So that was really cool. Whenever you get those kind of backers, you always are suspicious, but it turned out it was a real pledge. So that was really cool. I'm not expecting that to happen here. Thanks, Kyle. You're a rock star. All I do is just lie around in my dungeon here and draw and make up stories. The only reason this has the funding and the backing is because of all the people that choose to back it. So I can't really take much credit for the success of the campaign. I mean, I worked really hard on the comic and on the campaign, but lots of people work really hard on stuff and don't get any reward for it. So the fact that people have backed it is, I'm very grateful. And again, hopefully it won't be too long before you see me on here with another live stream with the Crimebuster 80th anniversary 100-page giant special, which I'm just waiting basically to get the cover art back from the inker, and hopefully we'll have that going in the next couple months. And then that's sort of more, that's kind of more for my own entertainment than anyone else's, to be honest. But and then after that we'll have Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam, which is kind of what more people are waiting for. Oh, it's official. Campaign ended. Just gonna refresh that. It sometimes takes a couple minutes for it to. Oh no, there it is. We refreshed, and there's the official message. 91 backers pledged $2,471 to help bring this project to life. That's you guys. That's all you. So, see if I can figure out how to stop sharing that. That worked. So that's it. That's it. Another campaign in the books. Thanks very much to everybody. I really appreciate it very much. And yeah, I'm kind of out of things to say, I think. Thanks, Rob. Thank you, Kyle. Thanks, Emmanuel. I think I'm going to end the broadcast here, and I'm going to go drink a huge jug of water and just lie down and watch TV for a while. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Yeah, I forgot to end the broadcast. That's a totally separate button. So here we go. Try that.